That's 7:45. Thank you very much. Right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Planning and Community Committee held on the 18th of June 2024. Woodley Town Council meetings are now recorded, with recordings streamed live and stored on the Town Council's YouTube channel. By virtue of attending the meeting, you consent to having your image and audio recorded for this purpose. If you do not wish for your image and audio to be recorded, then please do not stay for the meeting. For those in attendance, we're not expecting a fire drill tonight, so if you hear the fire alarm, please head to the nearest fire exit and congregate at the fire assembly point by the Oakwood Centre at the front of the park. Right, on the agenda, apologies. Do we have any apologies?
Yes, I think you've got yes, we do. We have apologies from both councillors Baker and Taylor.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have any declarations of interest? No. Okay. And we come on to item 3, which is minutes of the Planning and Community Committee meeting held on the 21st of May 24. Are you happy that these are a true record and I can sign them as such, or are there any comments you wish to make? Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, item 4 on the agenda, actions and follow-ups, and this is on page 12 of the agenda. I don't know whether there's any that we need to go through. I can say that at this moment I have no further update on the request for 9.4.3, the parking at the Rivermead Primary School, and I am still chasing. But I think obviously there is a review of parking generally at schools, so whether or not that may be included within it, yeah? Okay, any other? Yes, sir.
Just a comment on the word chase there. I think it might sound better if it was chased up rather than chased. It sounds like you're running down the road after Shahid. That's the comment.
Insert art, yes, okay.
I'll bring everyone up to date as well, Bill, on the speed watch programme. Unfortunately, on testing the camera, it started smoking badly.
Bad for it, you know.
I know.
Give it up.
It was on the trend that they had it by the amount of smoke. But that does mean that we are without a camera. Now, I can apply to the police to take a camera on loan from them so that we can commence. Or the alternative is, if we've got any money in the budget, to go out and buy our own camera, one that the police use for the speed watch programme, which I believe are about £150.
Chair, could we discuss this under item 9?
Yeah, because I think you've got a report on item 9, haven't you, on the agenda? So we'll come back to that and we can do that in greater depth. Yeah. Okay. Right, are there any other issues at all that on follow-ups that need to be discussed? If not, we come on to item 5, which is current planning applications. And for this, we will go slightly out of order on the agenda because we do have people with interest in certain items on this agenda, and we'll bring it forward so that you don't have to sit through everything else if you don't want to. You're quite welcome to, but if you don't want to. Okay, so we're going to start with 240683, number 4 Coppice Road. And this is one that we know quite well. It's a household application for proposed engineering works to the rear of the dwelling to create a lower patio and yard with a boiler housing, pergola cover and steps with retaining wall to support the upper garden level. And part of this is retrospective. I've had a look myself at this, and it seems that a number of issues have been raised by residents, and I would assume that you are residents, yes? Mm-hmm. Actually, a lot of them I don't think come under planning issues. I think they're more building control. Am I right in that? Matt, you think? I was looking at, you know, the types of retaining wall, the fact that the ground is slipping into the property from neighbouring properties, building control. Did you wish to make any comments?
Yeah, property itself is pretty much standard, really, 3-bedroom, semi-detached stock, there's thousands of around. That house is now at least 3 times the size it started, because they've added a 3rd floor in the loft. They've done a double side extension, which is at least 50% of the width of the original house. The rear extension sticks out so far that it could be bus loaded on it. It's had to go flat, so it sticks out over 3 meters. So that's added another huge proportion to this. That house is vast on that side now. At each stage throughout the planning, Mr. Singh, who owns the building and is also the building contractor, I would know, has deliberately added extra pieces on at every single stage and had to have a number of retrospective notices, as you have seen. Yeah, because he knows if he keeps doing it, local council will keep approving it. Yeah. And it is disgusting. I've noted that the council here have objected to these plans on several occasions and been totally and utterly ignored. I would like to know quite what the points of this meeting is. Do you ever get listened to?
Do we ever get? Yes, yeah. Obviously, on a number of occasions, you'll see further in the agenda that we, you know, a lot of the
exceptions to the rule here. This certainly in our experience.
Okay.
The owner of the property has the proceeds we're asking them to approve today already in place.
Yes.
And they have been in place now for well over 18 months. He built them with the initial build. All the house sits out the back. It is already connected to gas and electric. It runs all their heating and lighting, etc. Has no roof on it. It's open to the elements. It's got a piece of thin insulation, you know, the insulation you put between the 2 layers of bricks. That's what it's got there as a roof at the minute. The original pergola, the working with the council inspector came around well over a year ago, last summer. It was already in place and she had him remove it. He's since then gone ahead and built that patio. That patio exists. It's patio wall to wall, back fence to wall. There isn't a single living thing in that garden anymore. He's patioed over the top of all the roots to the oak tree in the neighbouring garden at the bottom. And it's since been hacking at it. We have a video of one of his workmen up the tree wearing nothing but a pair of flip-flops and a turban as a safety helmet on a ladder. He must have been 40 feet in the air with a handsaw cutting it off. The guy is despicable and he shouldn't be allowed to get away with what he's building. On top of that, the reason he's putting this stuff in is not to build a garden room, whatever he's calling it, is to put yet another bedroom in there. This property now runs, it's got 2 kitchens in it on 2 different floors.
So that's an MHO, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an MHO in everything other than the license he needs to actually run one.
Can I just hold you there a minute on the purpose of it?
It's members of the family that's living in it and it's not.
It can't possibly be.
I visited the site and I spoke to, I don't know if it was some of the neighbourhood, some of the residents there some time ago on this purpose, and we got the enforcement officer to go along there and have a look to see what the concerns were. One of the concerns at the time was the fact of parking on the front, because we felt that at that time they couldn't get extra parking on, and also the fact that it was going to be used as a house of multiple occupancy. The enforcement officer noted that and spoke to them and was assured that it wouldn't be. If it is, then obviously they're going against it.
It's a good story to find that. I did come out. Came out on Tuesday at about 11 o'clock in the morning. I forget the date. At 9 o'clock on that Tuesday, it was like rats leaving a sinking ship. There were bodies coming out of there so fast. There was one poor woman was thrown out there, carrying her baby, still trying to wrap it up on the way up there.
She's getting the rocks.
Yeah, it was just bodies coming out of there like you would believe.
Yeah, no, just
Yes, yeah.
if you can get video stuff of this, there's
See, they're not that daft. They know that the video camera is on the doorbell, so they just come across the number 2 property and they cut out that way. So yeah, we see them going.
literally just walk past holding a phone and film them.
How are you not really allowed to do that over the fence? That's kind of privacy issue, isn't it? Yeah, and then what happened is he'll go off and report me in the same way that he's harassing the next door.
I've done it myself. I filmed it and I sent it through to officers at Wokingham, both at my own property and at other residents' properties, and they will accept that as evidence because it's the same as Google Earth. Google Earth drives down the road and films your house. What's it filming?
It's quite clear that it is a multi-lock because they've got a front door that is the front door, the double door, and there's a key safe.
Next to us.
Two lads go in.
Oh, you're absolutely right,
And
there's,
they get the key out, so they haven't all got a key, there is a key at the front door for whoever wants to go in and out, and then there's a separate entrance on the left-hand side that's got a key.
Can I just come back to the issue tonight? Right, because obviously if we're concerned about it being used as a house of multiple occupancy, we can then ask the enforcement officer to return and make a more detailed visit. That we can do.
Tell them he's coming.
No, no, right.
And if they phone up and say, hey, you need to set the property.
Right.
they can do that, can't they?
Yeah. So let's look at what we're looking at tonight, which is this application.
So to go back to that application,
Yeah.
it's already in place.
Right.
It's just there already.
Okay, yes, I've got it down as a part retrospective. You're saying it's not part of this form, right? Okay. But as I said, a lot of these items that you, I think whoever made the comments on the application, is building control.
Again,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming you guys as with the council, which, you know, it's Wokingham Borough Council is where we're hitting the brick wall every time. We've been told we have to put everything in emails. Some people come and investigate. Nobody comes and investigates. According to the planning, don't get me wrong, the planning officer has told us that the councillor that was dealing with this was supposed to come and speak to the residents. We've not seen him, We have not seen the councillor at all. I've got to the stage where my wife is not very well. I'm not very well. I get harassed by him. If I go in my front garden and start working, within 5 minutes of me doing anything in my garden, the tenant's on the phone and he turns up in his van.
And that includes our back.
He's the only landlord I know who's there 24/7.
right. Look, let's see if any of the committee have got any comments that they wish to make on this. Any additional comments? Yes.
Can't we deal with, I know that we're here for planning and for this thing. But these are residents and it
Yes.
does, can we not make note of these things and pass them on to Wokingham on behalf of our residents? Because it's a planning meeting,
Yeah, I think what we need to do
because they're obviously getting nowhere.
is ask for.
It's not just us two.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
All residents.
Yep, it's happening to the
It sounds
neighbours,
familiar.
You know,
So we come to our reference to the.
So can we do our little bit?
Yes,
Our
I believe.
bit under our.
So the issues that we need to raise is the fact that it's retrospective, it's already in place.
Yeah.
There are a number of issues concerning the building of those anyway that's gone against planning. I
Yeah,
believe the house of multiple occupancy needs to be
Not
investigated
registered.
more fully.
And it's shouldn't be on limited, you're only allowed to go so, I don't know the rules. and you-
The rules have changed dramatically on what you're allowed to build out. It's
What's to stop you building a block of flats there? It's nothing slowing down.
no, okay, and I think that's what we need to do. We need to ask
It
the
should
planning
go, it
officer.
should go back to the original plans of saying 7-bedroom dwelling.
Mm.
Now, we know there's at least 3 bedrooms on the ground floor. There's at least 4 bedrooms on the first floor,
Which are the ones that are already.
and there's at least 3 bedrooms in the loft conversion.
So these people are never related to each other. I mean, yeah, it's just not possible.
no.
I can just say that I had communication with the planning officer looking after the enforcement issue at the beginning of the year, who said that they'd spoken to the applicant and the resident at the end of October, who confirmed to them that he would be returning it to a single occupancy dwelling on the 1st of December, at which point the planning officer returned and said it was as discussed, and so had to close the enforcement issue at the time. But obviously, she also said that if she gets reports again, they would go and check it again. So I can go back and
These program people in there, we just see a constant stream of people coming in and out, and it's not always the same faces, so they turn them over. So yeah, I suspect when she went in there, what she reported was true at that moment in time, but the following day, it all changed again.
I can definitely raise that back with her and make that point that exactly what you've said. That's right.
Okay, so we will do that on your behalf. We'll make our representation to the enforcement officers and planning, the points that you've raised. What we need to do is to look at this application tonight. Based on the fact that it's retrospective, that doesn't mean a thing. The fact that it's there already, we still view it as though it's not there. What are our feelings on the application as it is at the moment?
I'm a bit concerned about is it the boiler housing with no roof?
Yeah.
If there's electricity in there?
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
So
It's
based on that, I think-
Bricks, you know, that kind of idea, just don't blow them away. But I mean, it really, I should take a photograph for our camera because we can see it from the cuts.
Based on that, I'd sort of say,
We're going to accuse, yeah.
Chair, I'd just like to say how important it is that residents come along and vocalise their feelings, because reading this on paper, you would have said, yeah, fine, no problem at all. People coming along and explaining this, it does put a completely different swing on it. And obviously we know the history of this house and what's gone on before, and how much we do dislike retrospective. And I think we should put all our nose against it, actually.
Could we ask the view of the building control officer, as there's some concerns been raised, if we're raising it with Woking Borough anyway?
Yeah.
So I think we've got some of the details of the concerns. I think it's right talking to the planning officer, but the building
Control as well on these issues, the issues that they've raised as far as the ground slipping away.
Yeah,
start, yeah.
it's a one rain story from us, losing all our fences, and brand new, we've had them in for 18 months.
Right, okay.
I mean, I've had to repair my back garden twice where
It's just unlike, it's just, they got to the bedroom, just dropped it straight down and just left it like that, so the posts are sort of sitting soil on three sides and nothing on this side, so we're just one piece of small away from losing the lot.
Right, we will do that on your behalf, and I think we're in agreement that we are happy to recommend refusal on this one, yeah?
It's the planning officer,
It's a change.
can the planning officer do a surprise visit?
Well, it's the enforcement officer we would like to do a surprise visit. I think we could request that in the past, the occupant has been aware of a pending visit, and it might be better that they weren't aware.
Clearly, from the previous conversation I had, it was been to visit, seen it as an HMO, and the owner had then said, we're converting it back. So I think there obviously was a surprise visit before, and I think we just need to set out what residents have seen on the property, and Woking will investigate appropriately, hopefully.
Chairman? Yeah. Listing? Well, it's the thing is for listing, I don't know that the fact of an HMO comes into listing. It's not it doesn't, does it?
No. The HMO element is an enforcement issue,
Yes.
because they would need to have the right planning permission to allow it to be an HMO. So if they haven't got that and they're acting as that, it's an enforcement issue, at which point the council will then ask them to either stop doing that or put in the right application to get a licence for an HMO, in which case that may be accepted or refused. That's the process that they will follow to get it corrected if that is the case. And if they then refuse, then obviously they get forced.
And a lot of the others are building control as well, so not really a listing. And I think going back, I think we tried listing this once before, I'm not sure, I can't remember. But then the whole application was changed. But what it means, listing, is the fact that when it goes to Woking Borough, it's not the officers who determine it. It goes to a committee, the planning committee of the borough. They're elected members, and they would have the opportunity, you would have the opportunity to go and speak against it or for it. And it's viewed by the committee rather than the officers.
Right.
But in this particular instance, I don't see that there's any reason for it to be, or any right for it to be listed. Not trying to duck the issue, because we would if we could, but the items
So
are
we
concerned.
won't forget to talk to Woking Council about this, where they.
Individually, you can, but not at the committee meeting, because it won't go to the committee. It will be determined by the officers.
Right.
All right.
One other thing you might like to think of, from what you were saying a little bit earlier, if the landlord is actually harassing you when you go out of your house, that can be construed as antisocial behaviour.
He's had an antisocial behaviour go to the property twice.
He has.
As an officer for Woking Borough, he actually knocked my door and asked me what the problem was. And we did it last year, and I did it this year for a whole month. And they were in there, they were constantly banging. We didn't know if it was, they were doing building work, or slamming doors, or what it was. And it wasn't 8 o'clock, this is 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And I've also, a couple of months ago, he literally stood out in front of my house and accused me of being abusive to him. Doing damage to the cars that's parked on the property and chucking dog feces all over his garden. I'm 68 years of age, I'm not 8, you know. It's absolutely disgusting. I've had to go to Thames Valley Police, they've got an instant report regarding this matter. You know, and you try and talk to him, he won't talk to you. You know, he's the most arrogant person I have ever met.
He's arrogant because he knows he can get away
Yeah.
with it. With all this retrospective stuff, he knows it's this normal, like, we've got ours similarly extended next door, so we just, normal homeowners have got to agree.
He actually lives in the
He
middle.
is a builder by trade. So he's done this multiple times around the local area. He's already doing it again up on Woking Road. So he knows exactly what he's doing. He built this house with all the, you know, the red wiring you put for fire suppression systems?
Yeah.
That's all in there. From day one, he was putting it. Because I asked him at the time, hey, why are you doing that? You don't need it, you know, maybe you're wasting some money. He's like, oh, no, I'm gonna, you know, I want it for my tenants.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point, he only had permission to do the loft extension. And now it's just got so out of hand. He knew precisely where he was going with this.
He knocked my front door from day one and told me it was going to be his permanent home.
Yeah, he lied to everyone.
When he finished it, I said, all you are is a liar. He said, what do you mean? I said, you're a landlord.
He spoke perfect English also when he first came down and he tried to charm offensive. Now if you speak to him, no, I don't know anything, I'll get my wife and then turn it up. Yeah.
Right, okay, so we've said what we can do, we will do this, we'll get the enforcement officer to have a look at it, we'll get the building control to investigate some of the practices that he's had, and we'll go from there, all right? So, thank you very much, and wish you luck. Yes, sorry.
Do we have the copy of the latest complaint which you recently sent to?
It's online, it's on the planning app, yes.
It is on.
Yeah.
And you sent the same copy to Woodley?
Every email we've done is going to, when I first started, I phoned up the council, because he was doing stuff that was at his work. I spoke to somebody in building control, I spoke to somebody in health and safety, I spoke to somebody in planning. And all I get out of that, no disrespect to people, is we can't do anything unless you email me. Now, unfortunately, I'm dyslexic. It takes me ages and ages and ages to write anything out. And I have to get my wife to check it to make sure that I'm not putting any words I'm not supposed to put in. It shouldn't be like this, that you've got to do emails or somebody should be able to knock your door. What's the problem? Talk to them face to face. Before the local elections, I had a councillor at my door, and he said, will you vote for us? I said, I ain't voting for any of them. Why is that? Look at what I have to live next to. And I said, come on in, and he came in and I showed him what was out the back and everything. And he said, this is disgusting. There's no way it should be like this. And he said, I will contact Woking Borough Council, but he said, I'll be honest with you, you might not hear anything. And he was correct. We haven't heard anything. Yeah. You know?
I have to say just at this point, we should be trying to move this on clearly, but yeah, that's fine. But thank you very much for having listened to us, because literally you're the only people that have. No one else has taken a blind bit of notice of this, and it's depressing. It really is. There are times we're lying in bed at like 3 a.m. and just there's crashing and banging going on because there's so many people living there, and they're not living there because it's luxury. They're living there because it's cheap. So they're doing the night jobs and they're coming and going all the time. Yes, there's not full cars out there, but you can't shut front doors at that hour in the morning without. Yeah, it's the other side of your wall, and there's a 4-foot gap between us and that door. So yeah, it's just
I've even been accused of my TV being too loud because he's got a bedroom next door to my living room.
yeah. So yeah, just say yeah. Thank you very much for this. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for coming along. Thank you. And we'll do what we can.
Sorry, we've taken up most of you.
No, not at all.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
I hope, like I say, hopefully Woking Borough Council will listen this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we are going on to, quite happy with everything that you've got there.
Yes, that's fine.
Going down to the tennis court Silver Fox Crescent, 241301. We'll do that one as the second, and that's a full application for the proposed erection of one number self-built two-bedroom detached dwelling with detached garage and parking. And this one has been with us before, well, not this application itself, but the actual site. Yes, yes. Okay, did you wish to speak at all on this, or do you want to hear what we have to say first, or? Sorry?
If that's all right.
Sorry, listen to us first, yeah? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, take it everybody's had the opportunity to have a look at the plan, and it's there if you want to have a look. I think I'm right in saying that the planning application for 3 is already approved.
Yes.
And this is an additional 1.
Yes.
Originally, it was for 4, was it?
It was for 4 bigger properties, yeah.
Right, so you've got now down to 3 smaller ones, and this additional 1 is another small unit
Yeah.
to make up.
Different one I want to live in, because I'm sort of going to be able to say what's too much so time.
Okay. Right, any comments at all? Anybody? Yes, Carol.
Yes, look to this one. My observation was the lack of amenity land for the property. I felt it didn't look too bad there. On the other plan, it did look as if it was quite, there wasn't a lot of garden.
Right.
There's a tree right in the corner. I can't work out which tree it is. I did have a look. That needs to be.
So that's got a lot more detail on it.
Yeah, so I just raised it as to have a look really, to see what people thought about the amenity area.
That tree is in the neighbouring property.
That's, yeah, I think I came to that conclusion in the end, thank you.
Yeah.
This is your self-built view,
Yes.
yeah, oh, right.
And the other 3 are complete?
No.
Sorry, they're not.
The infrastructure is, so the roadway is in, all the ducting for electric, water, drainage and that. But they're being sold as self-built properties. One plot is under offer, that's going through to a young couple who are living for themselves. The other one, another guy's looking at for his family. The third one, I haven't done anything with, because if I can get this one, it just makes life more comfortable for myself. And then I will go to myself with it.
And the access into these properties, we're quite happy with it.
I think that's a really good use of space and that. I mean,
It's been there for a long
Yeah.
time, hasn't it?
Yeah. I was walking down there and they were putting a load of utilities in, and it's actually reasonably wide access. And as for the garden size, I mean, if you go down Loddon Park, some of the houses are right on the road. They've got no gardens at all.
No.
So it's got a little bit of property there. I can't land there. I can't see a problem with that. Parking space. Land has been under for years. It's all cleared. Fine.
Any other comments at all? Anybody? No. So based on that, we are quite happy to recommend approval.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
You've got to stay now to the end though.
As I say, you're quite welcome to stay and listen to the rest, but on a lovely night like this, I think.
Fortunate,
Sorry?
Thank you. Thanks very much. Cheers.
Oh. Okay, we go back to the order of the agenda now. So we start with 240673 18 Copsley Road. And this is the householder application for proposed erection of a 2-storey front extension, a part first floor, part 2-storey side extension, and part conversion of the garage to habitable accommodation, plus insertion of 2 number front dormer windows, a rear Juliet balcony, and changes to fenestration. Looking at the block plan, it's quite a large plot, isn't it? It's, I think, yeah. There it is.
Yes.
I mean, there's ample parking for cars, and the fact that he wants to turn part of his garage into habitable accommodation doesn't really.
One of the longest gardens.
Yeah.
That's lovely down there.
There's been no comments from neighbours.
There's big verge out the front of it as well.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Everybody happy with that one? Okay. Good. And we come on to 241120, 75 Western Avenue, household application proposed erection of a single-storey front extension to the garage, a first floor rear extension, plus insertion of roof lights to the existing roof and widening of the driveway. There was an objection by the neighbour. When I looked through it, it seems to have been resolved. I don't think the objection really stands, although he's written the letter, at the end of it, he more or less says that.
I think they agreed, didn't they? They said they agreed to whatever it was, and
Yeah.
as long as it stayed that way,
It's
they were happy.
quite happy with it,
Yeah.
so. Everybody happy with this one, or, yeah?
Yeah.
That's-
As long as you stick to it, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
I've got letters.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. And then on to 241188, 46 Wyndham Crescent, household application, proposed erection of a single-storey rear extension with changes to fenestration plus removal of the chimney. Again, couldn't really see any issues with this one. Anybody else in agreement? Yes? No other comments? Right, that one. And 241189, 79 Woodlands Avenue, Woodley, application of varying condition 2 and 3 of the planning consent. That number for the enlargement of existing bungalow through the erection of one additional storey to a maximum height of 8.1 metres. Conditions 2 and 3 refers to the approved details of the external materials. And the variation is to allow a rendering finish to the whole dwelling as opposed to part brick, part rendered elevations. We've got a plan of the other properties. I mean, this isn't going to be the only one that's rendered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it's out of character because
Yeah.
Woodlands Avenue is renowned for being bungalows, and that's what makes it so unique. So I was going to vote no on this, to be honest.
So, the fact that it's going to be rendered as a complete, I don't know.
Google Street View is missing.
We should, 'cause I think there's a two-storey house next to this one.
Is that?
Yeah. You sort of see it, street scene.
If my Google map was saying that.
My internal Google Maps not working.
This property.
And it's next to.
Oh, yeah.
So that then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's continuation really, isn't it? Those two to be, and then you think of that drawing we just had up there, similar to those two, isn't it?
There is just.
There is a rendered one there. Not that one's rendered, isn't it? So it would be difficult to.
No.
Keep
Keeping you up, huh?
Yeah, yeah. The build itself, apart from the appearance, quite happy with. Yeah, full sale sign outside.
It was at the time that was taken, May 2023.
Yeah. I guess that follows, isn't it? Nobody's objected.
It's small, isn't it, that one? Yeah.
I was going to object, but now been overruled. There are other houses. I thought it was all bungalows. Yeah. Yeah.
It is further down.
It is, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. Everybody else happy with it? Yes. Right. And 241212, 6 Covent Gardens, household application for the erection of a single-storey rear extension and patio, levelling of the rear garden to create tiers along with horizontal boarding to the rear fence elevation, side fencing elevations, creation of a raised bed to the top tier of the garden. Didn't really see any problems with that one, as long as we don't end up with the same situation as collapsing gardens. But other than that, any comments on that one at all? Quite happy you've all seen all you need to see, right? Okay. And 241251, household application, proposed erection of a first floor rear extension plus installation of porch canopy roof. 91 Reading Road, 241251. This was, I think, I couldn't see any reason not to, but it came out quite a distance, the new porch, didn't it? It seemed to. I think it's got a bathroom, downstairs bathroom, is it this one? I mean, it's not too good. Sorry, does it really?
Change there and there.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Hold on a minute. This is,
The porch cover being put on.
that's for a rear extension plus installation.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Doesn't seem to interfere with anybody at all, so. No, okay. This is 241252, 37 Fitzroy Crescent, outside application, proposed erection of a new porch to replace existing, which is the one I'm thinking of. The only look at this one, I think 36
Yeah.
sort of objective, there's been no objections, has there? A bit sort of coming out across what I think was his lounge window, isn't it? Number 30. 30. I think it's 35, is it? Next door. Yeah. Yeah. That was one of the things that was back out quite distance, but.
Another 3 foot, isn't it? Something like that, looking at that.
Sorry?
It looks like it's coming forward another 3 feet
Yes, yeah.
from the original line.
But there's been no objections from the neighbours.
Yeah.
So they're obviously of that concern, so.
There's still a window there, doesn't it, on the main property?
Yeah, yeah, that's the window I was looking at. That would be his objection if there was one of the building coming out blocking light.
Pioneer Designs is red hot on their spelling, aren't they? Porch extension Fitzroy Crescent.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so, but everybody happy with that one? Yeah. Right. And 241263, 37B Crockenwell Road, household application proposed single-storey rear extension and part garage conversion along with changes to fenestration. That one, 241263. That's it there, yeah. Yeah. Again, any problems? No? No, okay. And 24126886 Ravensbourne Drive, household application proposed loft extension along with 2 number front and rear dormer extensions to create habitable space, extension of drop curb to allow access to a new driveway and changes to the fenestration. There's one objection from a neighbour who is concerned that it's out of keeping, I think, and also there were some issues over parking around that area. He highlighted the fact that I think he lives in the turning on around the corner. That one. I think he's that house there, possibly. And he's saying that since the double yellow lines have gone in, it's creating more of a problem and people are parking around the corner, especially on the Saturdays that the football's on or something. Yeah. So,
I've got to admit, I mean, effectively, that's becoming a 3-storey building. And in my mind, it's ugly.
well, I think,
It's totally out of alignment with the rest of the estate.
yeah, is this the one, I put a few comments down, is this the one where he thought it looked like a shed being mounted on the top of the, wooden structure being mounted on the top of the property?
But if you go back to the plan, Matt, that's the existing structure.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally out of keeping with the rest of the estate.
Overbearing.
That one's there, isn't it? Yeah.
There's one down Haddon Drive similar as well.
Is there?
Yeah. Yeah, that one there, that's been there for 40 years, that one. Yeah.
Where is the property? That's the property there, is it? Or?
No, it's on the right of this
Right,
picture.
it's not on there,
That's the property. The drop curb, I think, is probably going to come to about there, give or take. And I think they're putting the space here, so they'll have a space at their garage, a space here, and a space here.
Yeah, it's not that going, just to see where it sits as far as the neighbours are concerned. Not really, of course, the neighbours great different problem. As far as rights concerned, is it?
No.
But it really comes back to whether it's out of keeping.
Was it street scene? Would that be
Street scene.
something to?
There's one there.
Yeah, but that's a back garden though, that isn't it? That one. Whereas
But
this is going to be the front, this is back.
That one there's.
This is going to be all over the front,
Yeah.
covering the whole roof.
Yeah.
So,
It's a long way away.
no, it's,
There it is.
that's my feeling anyway.
That's not big, is it? That's only, you're saying they're right, covering the whole roof width and
That's a loft conversion.
yes,
What is planning is a third story.
yeah.
Right.
Right, are we going to make the point that we don't think it's in keeping with the street scene? And can we object to the materials being used? Is that a planning issue?
If it's out of character with the street scene and, yeah, absolutely.
Because I think, the wood structure wouldn't be particularly attractive, would it?
The driveway bit's okay.
That takes another vehicle off the road, perhaps.
Need it now.
Okay. Right. And on to 241387, 9 Cartmel Drive, household application proposed, single story front, side and rear extension with changes to fenestration. I've got no comment against, no objections against that one, but I don't know whether you can see anything that's a concern. Everybody happy with that one? Yes. And we come to number 1 Mulberry Close, 241399. Household application proposed 2-story side extension with changes to fenestration following the demolition of existing garage. 241399. Again. Couldn't see anything at all. I mean, demolition of a garage, existing garage is issue.
That's quite smart, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's balanced better, isn't
Yeah. Yep. Everybody happy with that one? Yeah. Okay. Right. And 241410, full application proposed fenestration changes with additional windows. This is units 1, 2 and 3 in Crockenwell Road. This is Robert Dias. What was Lardy Kitchen and what's the other one?
Bernardo's and Hayes Travel. Thomas Cook's, those three. So it's,
Yeah.
Bias, the Children's Bernardo's, I think,
Bernardo's was there, isn't it?
Oh,
was there, and then Hayes Travel stroke Thomas
yeah,
Cook.
yeah. So it's those three, and really it's just a change of frontage. So no objections.
Yeah.
And finally, oh no, sorry, not finally, 241437 Livingston Gardens. Household application proposed erection of a single-story annex to the rear of the main dwelling to create habitable accommodation following the demolition of existing garage. A lot of garages being knocked down.
Yeah. You can't get cars in a minute, okay?
Where are we with this? I couldn't see any issues with it, but I couldn't.
Just had
Yes.
one query on looking at the plans. It talks about the demolition of the existing garage, but when you look at the plan, it still says garage. So, because the garage is integral. I expected if they were demolishing it, then it would be
Use.
a living room or something,
Yeah,
but it's still called a garage when you look at the words on the.
It's not integral, is it? It's the end of the garden.
No, that's not the garage.
No. Go back to the elevation.
If you look at the elevation, you'll see the garage is integral.
There's issues with the.
So what are they doing?
Just the plan.
That is, that is the application
Yeah,
for the bottom of the garden.
That's an annex as opposed to an extension. So that is the garage access from,
Is this the one that shows you the type of building? It's a manufacturer's picture of the building.
right,
There you go. So
Yes, if you go right back to the beginning, see on the bottom right there.
there's some site photos.
See, that's the garage there.
yes, it's ancillary accommodation.
So it is the garage at the back of the property.
Yeah.
It's being demolished and replaced with the.
But you can't, how do you get to the,
I think it's off, is it off Drovers Way?
no,
Is there not?
It's
no, there's no access off Drovers Way. If you look at the elevation, the photos, it shows a garage on the front, on,
Second one down.
there we are, there's the garage there,
Yes.
under that extension.
Google Earth, does that show?
You can see why I was confused.
Yeah, I just thought I saw a fence in the back of something in Drovers Way, that was all.
There might be a gate for certain vehicular access.
Yeah, because it's just before the, I haven't been there for years, just before the footpath starts, isn't it? And if you went to Drovers Way, behind it,
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, wrong.
it's right. I just seem to think that on the right-hand side there, like coming the wrong way.
No, there's no drop curb there, so if there isn't access, it's illegal.
There we go. There's the hinges for the gate.
Oh, yes. So as you say, no drop curb.
Oh, that's not bad recall, is it, Golly? So if it was a garage before,
Not being used as such now.
Thought it's just a garden building. But that's why I questioned that demolition of existing.
So it's not the demolition on the front elevation, it's the.
on the back.
Yeah. Okay, how do we feel about that?
But you will notice on the plan, there's no kitchen being put in.
Yeah,
So it means they're going to be eating in the main house.
there is a kitchenette in
No, not that I saw.
On
the words, those words.
You've got the living room.
I bet there will be, David, at some point, allegedly.
Wherever the plan is with the words on, it says that there's a, I don't know what you call it, it's not a kitchen, it's a kitchenette, if you like.
Do we know the height of this building? That'll be the next issue.
Sorry, this.
I've got a sneaky feeling that it's permitted development, isn't it? Does it not come under something like that?
See that there will be elevations
You're
on
not
there.
allowed.
Each one.
There's there. Is that I believe is,
That's what they're proposing.
yeah.
But no objections from the neighbours. But then do the neighbours know about it?
We will have obviously
We
received.
would have written it up,
Yeah.
the royal we, yeah.
Setback from the back.
But the neighbours have already had an obstruction there anyway.
Yeah.
But it's obviously not going to need a access, well, only personal access, not a vehicle in the back.
I mean, it's difficult, isn't it? If it was me doing it in my garden for my grown-up son and his girlfriend to go and live in, great. If it was me renting it out to get some money in, great. But then you think about your neighbours and other people, then it's a bit, you know, I wouldn't object to it, but
Wouldn't want my grandson in there with his drum kit.
yeah, I wouldn't object to it as such, but yeah.
I've got people at the back of me that built a music room. Nothing I can do.
Lucky they live next door to me.
But thankfully, they have put some fast growing edges. in.
Right, so how do we feel about that? I mean, have we got any reasons to object? I think it'd be very difficult, wouldn't it? So, to make a reason. Okay. Right, that's that one. And finally, 241456 35 Crockenwell Road, householder application, proposed single-storey rear extension, single-storey front, porch infill, followed by rendering of all walls of existing property and changes of fenestration. Picked up by David is the fact that on the plan, they have put the wrong road name. They put Commonsmore rather than Crockenwell, so if you do find it, just ignore it. Yeah. Okay,
Council look at this one because my somebody decided they work for it, so I didn't see these drawings at all. So there we are.
that's right. Yeah. No problem? No.
I've got no problems, but it always worries me when the architects make an error on the application.
He's been visiting the wrong house. Right, okay, so that's completed. And we come on to page 17, which is planning decisions. Had a look at these. There's one I was pretty surprised about, but there you go. So, 4 Coleman's-Moor Road. Well, actually, if we go through the first ones, withdraw no determination, refused contrary to town council, there was none. Refused endorsing the town council was Sandford Farm. They agreed with us on that one. Approved contrary to the town council's recommendation is 4 Coleman's-Moor Road, which has been backwards and forwards to us. And we had neighbouring residents came to see us last time. And this is raising the roof, rear dormers, which is the one we looked at, where they wanted, I think, 3 dormers in the roof, but was only going to be using it for storage. Remember? You couldn't see why they'd want 3 dormers, but there you go. But anyway, that one has been approved. For Coleman's-Moor Road, again, for the erection of attached single outbuilding timber pergola retrospective, so that was approved. And 85 Coleman's-Moor Road for the post construction of an outbuilding for habitable accommodation, and that was retrospective. So there you go. It does seem to be that retrospective doesn't seem to be a problem, you know, and as the gentleman said, you know, it just seems to sail through. Yeah.
The council might, the borough not have a 3 strikes policy or anything like that?
Well, you'd like to think they'll have some sort of policy, but it does seem to be that you can do
So you
something
want-
retrospectively, and it just does get passed through.
Especially as he's a repeat offender, you know,
Yeah.
just doing what he wants.
And approved endorsing, well, we've got those that we were agreed with. Okay. One. And we come on to planning appeals. And this one has come up in the local press again, the Point London Road, which is the Starbucks drive-through that we voiced concern over the access and egress of that site. And I think that did get agreed with by the borough, but obviously there is an appeal against it. So we will wait and see the outcome. Okay, page 19, budgetary control. I think there's any comments, officer?
No, this is really, obviously, you get budget control twice a year. The annual grants are paid in 2 lump sums. So the first lump sum went out at the beginning, rather the end of April, beginning of May. So this, this now reflects about 50% of our first half. So you'll see the next one hopefully around November, where the second lot of payments are done.
Okay. Any comments at all? Any questions? No. Okay. Transportation and highways, community speed watch. David, you would like to?
Sorry, I started on that beforehand. But yes, the camera on testing has taken up the habit of smoking. So
is it irreparable?
Well, let's put it this way. It possibly can be repaired, but the cost of repair is something above £300. And then there's no guarantee that that would actually fix it.
You mentioned purchasing a new one, and it would be the same as the one that
using it.
Yeah, at the moment, the police, if you can borrow a camera from the police, which is a gun. But it means that when you go out, you need 3 people out instead of 2, because it doesn't take photographs. All it does is record the speed, and the other 2 observers are recording the make, model of car, colour, registration number, the time, etc., etc. So it's not as good,
No.
but
And is it always available when we want it, or could it be out with somebody else?
oh yes, no, it would be available to us exclusively, but only for a short time until we actually bought a camera. I think, you know, for the cost of a new camera, which last time I looked was £150. I don't know what's happened to the prices since then, because it was about 6 months ago when I looked.
But we're in a sort of situation that if we don't have it, we haven't got a speed watch.
Yep.
Right.
But we will have a speed watch,
But we will have
need
one
to,
that's effective or not.
I'm just checking on their website now. They do a starter kit, which includes storage box, high-vis jackets, other information that you bits of equipment you need in the speed camera for £445.50. I can't see on here. They're not showing an individual radar on its own, which I thought they had previously, but that's what they've got on there. So it would be £445.50.
Harold.
Yes, do we have any money in the budget, the planning budget, that we could use for that? Are we allowed to use it, or could we have a recommendation to S&R that some money is found for that? Because we've been waiting, haven't we, for a long time, for all sorts of reasons. It hasn't
I
happened.
mean, the 2 elections have interfered dramatically. But, you know, June and I have been working as close together as it has been possible. And, you know,
My proposal would be that we ask S&R.
that would certainly be my proposal. That
Can we investigate whether we could just buy the camera on its own?
Yeah.
First, that would keep.
Yeah, we can have a look into that and establish what the right bit.
I mean, the starter kit, we've already got high-vis jackets with the community speed watch on the back, although the smallest size I've got is extra large.
Do we have any money? Do we have any money?
No, but that could be solved, and it might be worth looking at the potential for a loan one in the shorter term, pending our being able to purchase one, so that it doesn't.
But,
so how best can we expedite this? Carol's point here. Let's so we don't have to wait until September's S&R and whatever.
yes, we could next week. On the agenda.
There will be an extra S&R meeting in the not too distant future to deal with catering matter, so that time-wise will probably be about right. They give us time to sort out exactly what it is. We can get a report to that. That meeting will be end of next month.
Do we have any budgets spare at the moment?
It's not a massive amount of money that the S&R committee could allocate funds for that.
Yeah.
So that could be added to the agenda on that next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're happy with that. Yeah. Thank you very much. Anything else on speed watch at all before we move?
No, I mean, that is the main one. You know, to buy a new camera that actually takes photographs is going to be a couple of £1,000. So it is a big difference in price. And quite honestly, I'm not sure where we get those from, because the major company in England that sold them is no longer in existence. They sold out to an American company. So, you know, so that we can get it up and running, this seems
Okay,
the best way.
right. And if it's the end of the month, there is no reason to go to use the police one for the time being because we wouldn't.
Well, to be perfectly honest, we're not going to be able to do anything until the election is over on the 4th of July. June is completely tied up. And myself, I'm completely tied up. But, you know, come the 5th of July, then we can sit down and arrange the first visit. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, are there any highways issues that members wish to raise? Okay. And item 10, bus shelters. And if you note the end of the contract with Clear Channel, Woking Borough Council entered a contract with Trueform to main 21 bus shelters across, which are used for advertising. And they will be replacing shelters with 21 new shelters. Each will have a green living roof with painted black shelters which would be removed and installed in some time to minimise disruption. And they're the locations of those that are affected. Carol.
Yes, it looks as if we may be able to suggest additional sites, that last paragraph. And I wonder whether that's something that should come to the full council so that all the councillors have the opportunity, they're kind of warned ahead of time, of coming up with any sites. I can think of one straight away, but I think it's important that we cover the whole of the town. And that would be better across all councillors.
I think there was a suggestion at one time of Vauxhall Drive, if I remember rightly. People come up from a resident, was it?
For a new shelter?
Yes.
And this is for, I think, other shelters that
to be replaced,
that are not currently advertising shelters yet.
Right.
So shelters that exist.
Okay.
I think the question is that company is obviously looking at trying to advertise its space for those busy shelters that are on for the.
Is it possible to recommend that the bus shelters be coated in anti-graffiti paint?
You make a comment to that effect. They probably are, and they'll be under a maintenance contract with call out timescales and things like that for broken windows and graffiti as well.
Right, but we know we've got a problem with graffiti here in Woodley. So let's stop it right at the outset.
Does anti-graffiti paint actually work?
Anti-graffiti?
I've never seen it work. People still manage to get spray
It
cans.
just makes it easy to clean
Come off.
Clean off, right. Doesn't, okay.
They don't stick to it if they try and paint it or something like that. It'd be the big answer, wouldn't it? Right. So we're quite happy with those locations that have been mentioned, but we would have possibly additional ones. Yeah. With the suggestion that it's with anti-graffiti paint. Okay. Community issues. Any community issues that we wish to highlight?
I don't know if it's appropriate, but I thought the D-Day event in the park was a brilliant evening. Really well attended.
Yeah, it was.
It was a really, weather was fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was a really good evening.
Yes. And yeah, I agree with you.
To those who organised it.
Did that? Yeah. Thank you very much. It was a good evening. Anything else? No. And publications, information, the note receipt of the newsletter and the promises of inclusion newsletter, May 2024. And that is it, isn't it? Is it? No, sorry, future agenda items. It's that page, isn't it? Future agenda items.
Installation of air conditioning, perhaps?
Comes under planning, doesn't it? Well, it should have been done when it was built, sorry. It's always easier to do it rather than retrospectively.
I didn't build it.
No. I think the money was a bit tight at the time, wasn't it? Okay. Publicity and website?
Yes. With the publications and information, we get new ones every month. Can we get the charity ones on our website? Reason being, I mean, Promise Inclusion, I knew nothing about them until I attended the AGM at the end of last month. And I was so impressed with the work they do with autistic children. And they look after 5 families in Woodley and are very, very anxious to become better known in Woodley so that they can extend their area.
Yeah, perhaps we can have a look at that in the context of the wider bit of work we were doing for the community groups directory on the website.
Yeah. But it would be nice. I mean, that one has particularly come to mind because I was so impressed talking to them all. But there are many of the charities that send us their newsletters on a regular basis. And when it comes to that, where they are doing work within Woodley, I think it's only fair that we publicise them on our website.
Yeah, good point. Okay. The others? Right. Publicity website, built and enforcement issues, page 20 and page 21. Is there any on there that we need to look at and discuss? Compliance. Unauthorised change of use to include car sales. No, so compliance. Enforcement notifications, Bruce Road, Londonbridge Road, they're all there, Woodlands Avenue, Colmsmore Lane, and Timber Way. Any concerns, any issues?
No, I'm just laughing at 33 Colmsmore Lane, green structure above 6 foot wall. I wonder what sort of tree it is.
Yeah, oh, well, there we go. Right. And on that point, we have completed the meeting. Thank you very much for attending. Well, good night.